Hi, AP Statistics. We're going to do a couple of videos here featuring different graphing calculators. Today, this video, I'm going to feature the Texas Instruments TI-84 calculator. And I know the video I made for the lesson had some tips in it, and this video is going to be a little more involved. We're going to show you how to input data again, also how to work with that data, and how to adjust the histograms and the other graphs that you might make with your data. So let me get started with the TI-84, and we'll put up a data set here, and we'll take a look and see how that data can be manipulated using our TI-84. So the first thing on the TI-84 that we're going to do is enter some data. And in order to do that, I'm going to show you where you go on the calculator to enter that data. And then once we have the data set up here, you'll probably want to pause the video so that you can take a look and get that data entered into your calculator before you try and follow along with the rest of the video. So here we go. The first thing you're going to notice on the TI-84 is there are many buttons, and I apologize, my photo is apparently out of focus here. And the button that we're going to be interested in to start off with is the stat button. And so a lot of the stuff that we do is going to be requiring the stat button, which is the button right here. That takes you to a menu where you'll have a couple of different choices. The very first choice is edit. And you're going to want to go to that edit menu as that is where we will be starting with our data entry. When you get to the edit menu, you can start entering the data set as soon as I put the picture up for you to see. I would recommend that you push pause when you see the data set come up so that you can get all the data entered into the calculator. There are 30 data points. So go ahead and push pause as soon as you see the data. Now that you have your data entered in, your calculator should have something like this displayed. So let me switch. There we go. And you should have data entered into one of your lists like so. All right. So that's where we go to input our data into our calculators. And then in order to make the graph, what we're going to do is we're going to go to a part of the graph called stat plot. And you may see on your calculator already, the stat plot is on the top row of keys, but it is in blue. And so to activate any of the blue commands, you will first hit the second button just below, right here, and then hit stat plot. And once you're in here, you have 3 different plots that you can turn off or on. We are going to use the first plot. So I'm going to select it by hitting enter. And you can see I have a bunch of different things that I can manipulate in here. The first thing is, of course, I want to turn this plot on. The cursor's flashing on the on button. So I'm going to hit enter, and that will turn that on. There are 6 types of graphs. Okay, this is a scatter plot. This is a line graph. This is a histogram. This is a modified box whisker plot. This is a box whisker plot. And this is something called normal probability plot. We will learn about all these forms of graphs at some point during the year. Right now, we are mostly interested in how to make a histogram. So I will select that. Now, you may have noticed it removed an option because there's only one data set in a histogram. And the data set that I have entered is in something called list 1. There are 6 pre-named lists in your calculator. They're L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, and L6. You can also add custom names of lists, and I will show you how to do that later. If your data was in a different list, to enter any one of the 6 pre-named lists, if you look down on the keypad, move it here, you can see on my number keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in blue, just above them, I have L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, and L6. That's how you would enter any of those other lists. So for example, if I had accidentally typed my data in list 2, I would want L2. I would just hit the blue key again, and then the number 2 key, and that would change to L2. See how easy that is? Okay. But of course, we want L1 because that's where my data is. So I'll change it back to L1. Now we are ready to look at our graph. On this top row of keys, the far right one says graph. So let's hit it. And if yours is like mine with this data from the NBA, I don't see anything. And that's because all of our data is way too far away from the origin. Okay, the default on this calculator is to put the origin right in the middle and to go from -10 to +10 on both the X and Y axes. Now, you don't need to manually redo this because there is a great command here, right in the middle, the top row, something says zoom. Push that zoom button and you get a whole list of different kinds of zooms that we can do. Zoom in, zoom out, zoom decimal, zoom square. Go down to choice number 9 and you're gonna see zoom stat. What that does is automatically changes the graph to display where our data is located. And there's what our histogram looks like. Now we have our histogram and it's displayed properly because we've zoomed our window to fit the data exactly. Now, one of the tasks or things that I'm going to want you to be able to do with your histogram is to adjust the number of the bars, which means adjusting the width of those classes. And we're going to do that using our window settings. So you can see the second button over on the 84's top row takes us to the window setting. And right now, the scale is set to 7.7%. That's how wide each of the bars are. Okay. And you saw the number of bars that were there. Let's adjust that scale. Let's try going to 10% per bar width. Okay. And you can see when I come back, I have a slightly different shape. Okay. We now only have the 5 classes. We have one empty class, and we have the low class at the beginning. Then we have this empty class. Then we have another low class. And we have this big class and the final class there. Now there's 5 classes that we have displayed here. Instead, remember when we did zoom stat, okay, there were 2 empty classes and a total of 7 bars. That's how you change the width and change the number of classes on a TI-84 calculator. We'll have more on using the TI-84 calculator a little bit later when we start dealing with more advanced statistics in our class. We'll start to see how the TI-84 can be used to find means, medians, modes, standard deviations. There's lots of different things that the TI-84 calculator can do. It's a great calculator, and I think you'll be really happy with it. And if you're using one of mine, you'll have to give it back at the end of the year, but you may just decide you want to get one of your own because they are a really fantastic calculator. All right, guys, thanks for watching.